Hey friends, Frankie and Brad here in Casper's Kitchen where we cook music. Brad and I are going to chat a bit today about a company that just continuously seems to be in the limelight and the press for not always good things. And again, we're going to talk about our friends Gibson. Since Gibson acquired Mesa Boogie, the brand seems to be less advertised than I'm seeing it ever been. I'm wondering if they're focusing on selling off the existing stuff and focusing on making Gibson amplifiers and kind of shelving Mesa Boogie. Tell us about Randall Smith.
Randall Smith, he started building those Mesa Boogie amps in his garage. And believe me, if you've heard those early Mesa Boogie amps,
oh my God,
they were awesome.
Mark 1s, Mark 2s, 3s.
And they sound like a Marshall on a record being played. They just had a great sound to them.
Versatility.
They were very versatile. They weren't overly big that you couldn't handle them. They were easy to move around, priced where you could actually afford one, but they had a great sound, great texture to their sound. Gibson has bought Mesa Boogie, and
the reason is they want to develop Gibson amplifiers, and when they bought Mesa Boogie, they agreed to keep Randall Smith on board for a year or two, and I think just a few months in, they let him go, and it upset a lot of people, and there's a lot of speculation as to where boogies are going now. The Mark 1s are bringing an enormous amount of money. I think the newer models are, again, they're up in the $4,000 range, but I'm not seeing anything new for Mesa Boogie.
I would not be surprised if they disappear.
I agree, Brad.
If they stick the name Gibson on there, just
right, and that's something that we're all kind of looking out for, the later to come Gibson amplifiers. Moving on to another thing Gibson is known for and continue to doing is the lawsuits. I think during the election or after the election, Donald Trump come out with the Trump guitars, and Gibson put a cease and desist on the president. Hey, you quit selling our damn Gibson copied guitars, so we're going to sue your ass, Donald. And Donald ceased and assisted. I guess he's used to doing it himself, so he knows the routine. But something that we've both noticed with Gibson is their prices has just gotten to the point that you and me can't afford, let alone the younger buyer. The young kids, coming out of high school, the college kids, the people forming new bands, they can't afford to buy a Gibson Les Paul, not even a cheap SG. And it's totally got out of hand. How do you feel, Brad?
Well, I have read that from what they're saying that there are less young people learning how to play guitar. The ones that are female. There's more females buying guitars than there are male, which means that if you want to increase your business, you have to make them affordable for young people to buy.
Absolutely.
And most parents are not going to jump in on a $3,000 guitar. I'm sorry. Not for their young child. And if you want them to learn, you have to make something affordable for these young kids to be able, for their parents to be able to buy it, and for them to actually learn how to play. Fender has always made it affordable for young people to buy a guitar. Why Gibson has not gone down that road, I don't understand. I think if you make it for younger people, if they continue to learn, they're going to go back and buy a more expensive guitar from the same company.
Exactly. Yeah, you can become brand loyal. I never did, but it is easy to do. I know most of my friends are brand loyal. I know Fender just lately, they've come out with a lower price Strat. They've had the different models for years, the Made in USA, the Mexican Strats, and then they get down to the Squire models. And what has happened in the more recent years, most all guitars, other than your boutique shops that are making handmade stuff, are just about all made by CNC machines at a certain level. You know, once a company gets so big, the first investment they're going to do is a CNC machine, because with a CNC machine, I get the same quality every single time. As long as I program the machine right and the tools are sharp, it's going to be right. And now you've got to the point that some guy from Indonesia can set up his CNC machine and carve out a perfectly fine tuned manufactured machine just as good as Gibson, Fender, or Paul Reed Smith's CNC machine can. And in some cases, they're using the same identical machinery. So, you know, the quality that you can get with a Harley Benton or a Firefly, many people are comparing these cheaper guitars, these $500 guitars, with $3,000 guitars, and in some cases the specs are better, and the playability is as good. So I think the younger people are not as brand conscious as us older guys. We don't feel that, like the logo on Gibson. You know, Gibson's, what was that logo? There's nothing like a Gibson, or the old banner logo. I can't remember. Help me out there, friends. But people are moving on. And Brad, tell us about this new SJ-200 Monarch.
Gibson has produced an acoustic guitar that has sold for right at $100,000.
$999,999.99. Now, once you put taxes and shipping on that, if you're in a state that collects taxes, you're well over $100,000.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's got all the bells and whistles, but friends, it's only a guitar.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we'll throw in some pictures of it to let you gaze at it. It's certainly eye candy. But you know, like you said, Brad, I mean, where do you
draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? I know there's a channel I watch quite frequently of a music store in I think Pinehurst, North Carolina, Southern Pines. And one of those guys used to work for Gibson, and he said they make $15 an hour, and they had to work a lot of overtime. So I'm going to assume that somebody that was making in the custom shop maybe a little more than 15 an hour, and maybe they worked a little overtime, so maybe they got time and a half. But you know, $100,000 will pay for a lot of labor, and you know, I look at all that inlay and the fancy gold and the diamonds. It's got diamond hardware and gold, and it's pretty, but I can't help but believe at the end of the day, you know, there's room for $80,000 or more left on the table there for somebody, and I don't think the employees got much of a bonus, if any. So that's to me, that's kind of taking advantage of a customer.
Yeah.
Even if they're willing to pay that kind of money, this guy may very well take a bath if he goes to sell this thing. Only a a collector with an enormous amount of money is going to pay that.
Yes. Now, I have a friend who wanted a Jimmy Page model Les Paul. Now, I don't know if you've looked at those, but I'm sure it's well over $5,000. I'm thinking 5 to 7,000. Well, he found one that he could get from China, which I was real leery of, but he finally got it. Thing looks great, plays great. All he did was he got new pickups and changed the tuning pegs. A great guitar for $350.
Yeah, DC Gate and AliExpress are two companies that have been doing that, and actually, I'm not 100% sure with this, but I believe it was AliExpress that made the Trump guitars. They basically took a guitar design that they had an American flag and an eagle on and put Donald Trump's name on it, and you could buy the guitar for a few $1,000s, and then if he signed it, if Donald Trump signed it, he charged $10,000 a piece for these $250 AliExpress guitars. But I will say this, and it kind of chimes into Donald Trump. Just in the last 2 weeks, if you go on eBay and Reverb to buy a guitar, if it's from another country, you're going to pay tariff charges. And there's a red flag up at the top of the eBay and Reverb now, you know, notification with a big little red banner that says read this, and it's telling you up front that there's going to be some charges, and I can testify to that because I recently sent a guitar to England as a gift, and there was $300 tariff, and I ended up paying that. Thank you, Donald. I appreciate you. But again, enough of that. But like Brad was pointing out, Gibson has and continues to put themselves in a dangerous growth for the future position, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
You know, thinking from a business standpoint, I think that they're doing all they can to capitalize on the baby boomers. But we're dying, guys. We're dying.
Yeah,
And,
you have to think of the younger generation, or you're not going to be there.
yeah, if the young people don't buy your instruments and they get a sour taste in your name brand, the future might not be good for you.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, I feel sorry for young people that want to actually learn how to play because there's not a lot of options out there. I think Fender may be the only company that will cater to younger people wanting to learn how to play guitar, that actually make a guitar that's affordable, that their parents can buy, because if you're 10 years old, you don't have, you can't go out and buy a guitar. You have to ask mom and dad to buy it.
I know my first guitar was and I still own it. It was a 1958 Harmony Stratocaster electric. And the strings were like, you know, this high off the fretboard. And I'm not just saying this, I played it till my fingers bled more than once. It made my fingers bleed. And my dad, the only thing he knew was, you know, these stiff black diamond strings that were probably 14 gauge, and they just ripped my little fingers apart. And had I had a real good quality guitar, I would have learned to play better faster, because it wasn't till I could afford to go out and buy my first high-end guitar that I really progressed. But as always, we're going to end it here, guys. We've rattled enough. Thank you so much for watching our video. Give us a couple of thumbs up. Please subscribe to our site, or at least consider. And as always, have a great day. Thank you.